Have you ever felt abandoned by God? I think every Christian at one time or another has felt abandoned by the Lord. Psalm 44 gives us this experience. Listen to what the psalmist says. Psalm 44 verse 7. But you give us victory over our enemies. You put our adversaries to shame. In God we make our boast all day long, and we will praise your name forever. The next verse, verse 9. But now you have rejected and humbled us. You no longer go out with our armies. You know, the psalmist is experiencing a feeling of rejection. And what he recognized are two important things. And this is the two things, friend, you have to recognize when you feel like God hasn't answered your prayer, your marriage is falling apart, your business is collapsing, your church isn't growing, things aren't happening well in your family, things in society is falling apart. And what the psalmist recognizes, we live in an evil world. So since this is not our home, you understand, this world is ruled by devils and demons. Satan is the prince of this world. And because we live in a world that is controlled by Satan, why do we expect that everything's going to go right for us? It's not. Here in El Paso, Texas, the judges were unjust and they stripped me of my constitutional rights of free speech. That's right. So when people tell me to shut up, I tell them, look, I paid $470,000 for my free speech. How much did you pay for yours? Judges here in El Paso would not even give us a hearing. They wouldn't even give us a jury trial, nothing, because they knew the people were for us. But the judges were doing political favors. I didn't realize that judges would act this way, but I came to realize that in this world, it's wicked. And so you got to recognize bad things are going to happen to good people. Look at the early church. Weren't many of the Christians martyred? Weren't they burned at the stake, crucified upside down, thrown into the lion's den, stoned to death? Why? Because this world is a wicked place. But God's not the one abandoning us. But the second thing the psalmist recognizes is not only is this world evil, but God is good. And so he prays to God, God, rise up and bring us justice. And that's the second thing, friend, you have to do. In the midst of feeling abandoned, you have to pray to God, because you can't give up on him. If you give up on him, what hope do you have? You just keep praying and seeking God, and God's going to turn things around. He did it for me. He did it for our church, and he will do it for you as well. Friend, if you feel abandoned, recognize this. Jesus said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Keep crying out to God. Pray to him, because he's a just God, merciful God, and he's going to turn your situation around.